Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know the title was a bit clickbaity. I didn't actually do makeup in 2016, but when I started taking makeup seriously in around 2018, 2019, my makeup was heavily inspired by the 2016 makeup trends. I thought it would be a really fun challenge to see what my makeup looks like now in 2026 versus what it would have looked like almost 10 years ago. I'm going to try to stay as true to my old routine as possible, and while I won't have quite a bit of the products I didn't use, I do have old videos to follow to see the techniques that I used and the amount of products that I used at that time. If you're interested in seeing the difference between 2016 and 2026 makeup, keep on watching. I'm going to use my eyebrow pencil and I'm going to draw a line down the center of my face just to demarcate where each time period style is going to go. I'm going with primer. This is the Maybelline Master Prime. I remember using a Maybelline primer when I was doing makeup 10 years ago, and while I'm not sure if this was the one I was using, I know I was using Maybelline, so I'm going to use it for both sides of my face. So next will be color correcting, and I stick to what I know, and I have been using this LA Girl Pro Conceal Orange Corrector since I started doing makeup and I started color correcting. Nowadays I color correct under my eye, the sides of my nose, and under my bottom lip. In 2016 I would have only color corrected under my eye and the side of my nose. I blended my concealer and practically all of my products with a beauty sponge. I'm gonna go in and blend this out. Today I blend my color corrector with a dedicated brush, and I typically start down here. In 2016 I also went in with my beautiful bronze LA Girl concealer over the areas I color corrected before I did foundation, so I'm gonna do that. I don't do that now, I just color correct and then I go in with foundation. This is another tried and true. I have been using the Maybelline Matte Fit Me for, as I think this was my first foundation. I'm gonna go in with one full pump for one side of my face, and then I'm gonna use a half pump on this side. In 2016 everything was full coverage. I was wearing full coverage everything. I'm trying to stick to that as much as possible. Let me add another half pump. Do I need another half pump? Let me just add a little bit more. It was never sheer coverage. No, I didn't do sheer coverage. What is sheer coverage? Yeah, I think that looks good. Today when I'm doing my makeup, I go in with a setting spray. This is the Black Radiance Hydrating Setting Spray, and I only use a brush. So I will spritz my brush and then I just go straight in, and I really do wear sheer coverage more today. Look at the difference between that. You can see the big difference. My left side is pretty full coverage, and then this side is more your skin but better. In 2016 I used 3 different concealers. Yes, full coverage. I used the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in Hazelnut. I used the LA Girl Pro Concealer Beautiful Bronze, and in Fawn, I don't have Fawn, but I do have Toffee, which I would use sometimes as well. Beautiful Bronze first, and everybody did this under your eye triangle, so we're not gonna talk about it. I was watching Jackie Aina a lot, I still do, and I learned a lot of my techniques from her, and one of them was to leave your under eye concealer to just dry down a little bit so that it gets a little bit more tacky and you get more coverage. Then I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. So Toffee is done for. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna substitute it for one of my nowadays concealers, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and this is in Warm Honey, just to get that bright under eye. For 2026, I use the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. This is in the shade Mocha. I use a brush to apply this. Usually I just use one pump. I probably should have used half because I use one pump for my entire face. This is not really a full coverage concealer. You could get it full coverage if you wanted to, but you would have to use maybe like 2 or 3 pumps, and it blends pretty easily. I also keep my concealer concentrated under my eye. So next is contour, and I think you figured out by now that I use LA Girl pretty hard. I use the Pro Concealer in Truffle. Nowadays for contour, I use 2 products. Well, I alternate between 2 products. Either the ABH Cream Bronzer in Cool Brown or the Cream Bronzer in Chestnut. I'm gonna use Cool Brown. If you know anything about 2016 makeup, ABH was the makeup brand ABH and Morphe. Very much giving your skin but better, no makeup type beat. And for nose contour, I don't use a contouring product. I really use my Black Radiance palette, and I use the bronzer shade and a little angled brush. I use a tiny bit, tap it off, and this technique I learned from Jackie Aina as well. I don't contour all of my nose. I just bring it up into the crease of my brow bone and just down the sides to about the midsection of my nose. For powder, I used to use the Sacha Buttercup for everything. That banana powder. I have the ABH loose powder in banana though, which is I think the closest thing I can find. If you followed 2016 content, you remember Flashback Mary. That was a time where almost every powder was giving everybody flashback, so it was really a thing where we had to be working hard to ensure there was no flashback on our pictures, especially since phone cameras were getting really good around that time. I think one of the reasons why we were all getting flashback is because everybody was baking and we're using so much product. And I think another thing was that it was really all matte everything. There was not dewy makeup. It was like you went matte or you didn't do anything at all. My powder routine is exponentially different. Going with a powder puff, and I get the tiniest bit of powder. To stay true to the system, we gotta bake, so we're gonna go back in with a powder puff. I look crazy. This is what we used to do. It never seemed crazy when we were doing it. In 2016, I did not have cream blush. I had the LA Girl blush palette, but I do have the Hey Jealousy pink blush from Sephora. I used to always wear pink blush. It doesn't matter what I was wearing, I was gonna wear pink blush. So I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush. This is a blush. For 2026, I use the Kimchi cream blush stick, and I just take a little bit on my finger. I don't often wear blush, but when I do, I often grab for the Sephora one, the same Hey Jealousy, and I'm gonna get a little bit of that just to reinforce the kimchi blush. Now I'm gonna wipe off the bake with a fluffy brush. If by this point you weren't looking casket ready, you were doing something wrong. Then we're gonna go in with setting spray. I don't know why we used to drench our face like this, but then I think about how dry we looked and I realized that it was necessary. So I don't look as dry anymore. With the baking and the amount of setting spray that you use, your face was not going to move. Another step that I used to do that I don't do now, when my setting spray was say 90% dry, I would go back in with my sponge and I would just press it into my face. I'm gonna allow this side to dry naturally. While this side dries, I'm gonna do brows. And if you know anything about 2016, you know that the dip brows were all that you used. I have dip brow in dark brown, which is what I used to use. I haven't touched these in literally years. Let me see if I still have a brush to use for it. Okay, so I have a brush to use for my dip brow, one of these angled brushes. I don't know if I remember how to use dip brow, but I guess we're gonna learn today. Oh, this is still creamy, still pretty creamy. Ooh, that doesn't look bad. I think I have to start using dip brow again. And then when you got to inner part of your eyebrow, you went like up so you could get these like brush like strokes. Okay, dip brow. For my brows in 2026, I use the ABH brow pen in chocolate, or I use the brow definer in chocolate. I'm gonna go in with the brow pen to just fill in the sparse areas. The difference between 2026 versus 2016 is pretty stark, especially when it comes to brows. You can see the full coverage over here versus on this side it's very... Oh, you're wearing makeup? I didn't notice. So typically my 2016 eyeshadow would be something like this. I used to love smoky eyes, so I'm gonna do smoky eyes. I have the Jackie Aina ABH palette. Then I'm gonna go in with the ABH eye primer. I'm gonna use this Ace Beauty Mystic Romance palette because I need the black shade. I'm gonna use this shade Mystic. I just remembered that when I did base before eyeshadow, I would lay down a layer of powder to catch any fallout because 2016 products were notorious for fallout. And then I'm gonna start blending it upwards, and I'm gonna go in with the Jackie Aina palette. So I'm gonna go in with Big Wig from the Jackie Aina palette, and I'm gonna put this at the edges. For the 2026 side, I'm gonna use a little bit of the LA Girl concealer in Beautiful Bronze, and I'm gonna go back to the Jackie Aina palette, and I'm gonna go into the shade Credit. I'm feeling a little frisky, so I'm gonna go into the shade Ginger and just blend out the edges of Credit. And I'm gonna go back to the Ace Beauty palette. In 2016, I used to wear these really big lashes. I don't have those anymore. I do have these Love Your Lashes JA lashes. These are actually what I started out with when I just started learning to wear lashes, so I'm really glad I have these. Nowadays, I don't really wear lashes. I just wear mascara. I'm gonna use the Falsies by Maybelline. Then I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Mega Length on my bottom lashes. I'm also gonna put some of the Maybelline Falsies on the 2016 side. So I'm gonna get my lash and I'm gonna trim it. First, I need to see what it looks like. I'm just gonna cut off this much. I'm gonna use the Duo Lash Glue. It's highlight time. I still have my highlighters. I have two highlighters from 2016. I have the Dream Glow Kit and I have the Sunlit Glow Kit. I'm gonna use the Dream for 2016. I'm gonna use Unicorn, which is this middle shade right here. I really love this purple highlighter. I'm gonna use that same highlight under my brow bone. And can't forget inner corner highlight. So now that you can see me from space, for the 2026 side, I don't typically use highlighter, but if I do, I use a very muted shade. I'm gonna use Bronzed, this shade right here, and I'm gonna get a little bit. Yeah, that was a good choice. I'm gonna put a little bit of it on my brow bone as well. And I definitely don't do inner corner highlights anymore, which lame. When you look at the 2026 side of my face, you're just seeing my skin but better. But then you go to 2016 and it's like, who are you? This is fun. I like this challenge. In 2016, I wore ombre everything. Go back to my black liner. So I have this lipstick, this purple lipstick from ABH called Rage. For 2026, I am basic and lame, so my go-to is this NYX Butter Gloss in, what shade is this? Cranberry Pie. And I don't wear liner or anything with this. I just go in. It's this really pretty pinky plum shade. Now that I look absolutely crazy, I'm gonna go back in with the setting spray just to complete the look. This time I don't need as much setting spray, and I'm gonna let it dry on my face. I'm not gonna use a sponge. And this is the final look in the Battle versus 2016 makeup versus 2026 makeup. I look extremely crazy right now. It's such a big difference, and I think I saw somebody say that the world lost color after COVID. Everybody just became boring. And I think it really shows when you put the makeup styles together like this, side by side like this. It really shows how much fun we were having in 2016 to 2019. How much fun we were having with makeup and expression and art. And then we just went to, I literally have on no color. Not even my concealer is different from my skin tone. My lip gloss, even though it's a pink lip gloss, is very muted. Brown on my lids. And it's funny because when you look at 2016, like purple highlighter, purple smoky eye, and remember that this was just a basic colorful look that I wanted to for this video. My old makeup looks were things like these were makeup looks I was doing at that time. Like, look at this is what I was doing. So when I go from this to this, it really shows that we have lost a lot of whimsy, a lot of the fun that we used to have. I can't stop looking at it because then I think about, oh my god, this was so fun to do. This purple look was so fun to do. Even though I look crazy, I look absolutely crazy. It was so fun to do. I'm gonna find my color and I'm gonna have fun. If you've stayed this far and you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also connect with me on TikTok and Instagram at KNicole, that's KEA Nicole, for more of these looks. My TikTok is a little bit more laid back than my YouTube, and my Instagram is just, I just post whatever comes to mind. But thank you so much for watching, and remember to find your color. Bye guys.